Speed gaming fans, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, Elite 8 action continues tonight right here. Speed Gaming Prime. My name is Will Cleosis, and it's an honor tonight, let me tell you, personally. I'm being joined by the first man that I ever heard call a match for Final Fantasy Randomizer, one of the people that I have patterned myself after, and that I essentially idolize. Ishbin Maya, how are you?
I'm great, and boy, do I have you fooled. I'm no pro at this. We've all been watching and listening to you, Will, do some commentary over these past few weeks, and it is a pleasure to be on the mic with you as well, as it looks like we are about to have heaping helpings of black belts this evening. Double black belt forced. What do you think of this, Will?
Well, a little birdie told me that this is Ice Blue production, and yep, barring no, it starts right off. I don't think Ice pulled any punches with this seed, giving us two black belts to go with. Fortunately, Edgeworth, TristalMTG, we played last night. Best of 3, Edgeworth took it. He's up 1-0. I asked both these guys, Maya, last night in the post game, how they felt about last year when they were in the semifinals against each other versus this year here in the Elite Eight, trying to get back towards that title. How they felt, and both of them kind of said they felt more comfortable with black belt strategies. So this could work in both of these players' favor tonight.
Well, they can't. They got their wish because now that you have two of them, I guess the first consideration you're going to have here, at least as strategy goes, is do you keep them both up and try to maybe get them both to 32 for safety's sake, or whether you're going to knock one of them down and just run with a three-man party. But before we get rolling here, I do want to talk a little bit about both Edgeworth and Tristal, their history and where they stand, not only in this tournament, but where they've been over the course of the last couple of years. They have raced each other or been in races together 19 times. And Edgeworth has beaten Tristal 9 times. Tristal has beaten Edgeworth 9 times.
Wow.
And there was one time when they both forfeited and Czar won instead, and it was probably one of their 500% special seeds or something along those lines. So these two racers know each other very well. They know their quality level. Both of them win races constantly. They both have a better than 500% winning percentage in any race that they enter in the Final Fantasy Randomizer community, whether that be one-on-one or 20-person races. They have both won more than half of their races in this. And so here we go again. This is like the Bears versus the Packers, the equivalent of that here for Final Fantasy Randomizer. Yeah. And it looks like we're about to get going.
That's right, the oldest rivalry in the NFL. And one heck of a rivalry here, Final Fantasy Randomizer. Last tournament, these two went at it. Tristal was the victor. He moved on to face X-Ice Blue in the title match. He was able to win that. X-Ice Blue re-rolling the seed here. Getting a little, perhaps, measure of revenge. We don't know quite yet. Edgeworth's up 1-0. Best of 3 tonight here on Speed Gaming. Melee Wizard taking care of all our tracking tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm not sure who our restreamer is. I believe it's Dark Sky. Either way, thank you, Speed Gaming fans and Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, for bringing us into your home tonight. I can't wait. This is going to be great, Maya.
And we have a late-breaking change to the party composition. Edgeworth has just switched off of white and black mage and is bringing a fighter and a red mage. And so he's going to be super light on magic charges. And I'm really, really curious to see where this goes.
Yeah, interesting. Subtle move already, perhaps pre-start, Maya. I'm not sure if you can quite make a move quite yet. We talked about it before the match. I was talking perhaps red-red. You talked about red-red. You talked about red-white. So many different ways you can go here. I think it's going to depend on magic selection. And Maya, would you consider letting go of one of the black belts, or would you keep them up early?
Well, I think Edgeworth is going to dan one black belt and possibly two in this situation. Although that would be terribly frightening, even at these flags where the enemies can they can one shot a character and you can be in real trouble real fast. I think probably a 3-man party for Edge. Tristal probably also a 3-man party. I am a little concerned on Edgeworth's side. About the lack of magic charges. He's rolling the dice that the red mage is going to be able to carry his party throughout the entire seed. And so this is dicey, but if it works, watch out. You know, the other side of this, Will, is that the fighter is going to find all of the equipment that the fighter usually gets. You've got to open chests, and that will play into Edgeworth's strategy down the road here. I don't know, Will. I never ran a double black belt in these flags. What would you do in this situation?
I would definitely let one of them go and go from there. If I had Edgeworth's party, I would have gone double red. I did that against TristalMTG weeks and weeks ago, and it didn't work out very well. It went from an offensive strategy to a defensive strategy. Not what was planned or prepped for at all. So you just said it, Maya. Spell charges. Edgeworth is going to get the gear. Tristal can sell that gear. Does a max price crown roll out as the vendor item? Are the gold bracelets 30,000 gold? That could play into Tristal's hands, because he can sell the opal shield quickly, the opal gauntlet, ice armor, something along those lines. So it could kind of go either way, but I would definitely let one of the black belts go. I would, especially if I was Edgeworth in this party, assess that level 1 magic immediately and potentially hit that reset button right away.
So I do see a lot of chatter here from our audience so far about strategies that they would do. I see Fuchsia Fantasy in chat. Thanks for joining us. Fuchsia Fantasy noting that, you know, an early nuke or an early fade puts Edgeworth very even as far as killing ability with this party. And that would be great. On the flip side, if there is no early nuke or early fade, Tristal's party is the one that becomes rather questionable.
Yes.
Because how on earth are you going to kill anything if, for example, there's no AoE black magic at the beginning of this seed, and you need to start swinging? Black belts aren't going to do the job for you until they get up into the double-digit levels. And so Tristal is also taking a little bit of a gamble here, you know, from that sort of a standpoint.
Yeah, if that situation arises, you likely be depending upon a Zeus gauntlet, maybe a Thor's hammer, mage staff, something along those lines, and finding it and having the situation that they could be effective, if that should be the case for Tristal.
And it looks like we're just about ready to get started. I see lots of friendly faces here in Speed Gaming chat. Thanks for joining us this evening. And here we go, mano a mano, Edgeworth versus Tristal. Let's see how this plays out.
I picked 4 people to make the final 4 earlier, before this tournament began. These 2 are one of them, TristalMTG and Edgeworth, along with Minochi and Fuchsia Fantasy. We're going to find out which one of these players moves on right now. Black magic of level 1. Not much, Maya. Just Rob.
So Rub will maybe do it to get you through Garland, and I saw Saber there as well, also on the level 1 black magic side. And look at Edgeworth immediately going into the armor shop.
No reroll. The magic is weak, both white and black. Both players are going to know the other player is going to have the same exact options. Looks like neither player is re-rolling at this time. Edgeworth equipping wooden nunchucks for both black belts, Maya.
How many times have you seen wooden nunchucks bought in this tournament so far? Here we go.
When I was 9 years old, I think I had the nunchucks on the black belt till he was level 15, not realizing what was going on.
It doesn't work very well.
It was 30 years ago. Both players headed to the Temple of Fiends now. Both players cabin and save outside. Headed towards the chest for 600 gold. Edgeworth is the first one there. Headed north now, Edgeworth. 2 more chests to go. 3,000 gold and a heal pot. They got to be happy to see at least a couple thousand gold so they can get camping equipment in Canaria.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a little bit of gold there on the left-hand side of Temple of Fiends Revisited, which will go ahead and help them in that standpoint. But once they get back to Canaria, there was not a whole lot on the white magic side to be able to buying spells for. I think I saw heal, and that was about it.
You know, Rub is the main attack weapon here. Both players use it. Tristal gets through. He's the first one to take down Garland as the Rub hits, and Garland is erased for Tristal.
So that is a very nice hero run up toward the beginning of this seed. And so both of these runners are going to be able to pretty much go across the overworld at will, assuming that they do have those saving items.
Edgeworth is in a bit of a pickle here now. He's lost 2 light warriors, and neither of his Rubs were effective. Early game management here. He's not able to get through. Edgeworth starting to struggle now, but he gets through with a critical hit from the wooden nunchucks in the black belt. Edgeworth takes out Garland.
And just what he wanted. His fighter is dead, gets no experience for it. Canal and TNT. That's a pretty interesting combo here.
Yeah, it definitely is. So the next step for both players is what TristalMTG is doing on the right side of your screen. The defending champion, the co-inaugural league champion looking to defend his title here in this tournament. Head to the Dwarf Cave. 2 chests over here. Could be maybe a bridge, perhaps? Let's see. 41 gold and a piece of metal.
Super interesting. So it looks like we're going over to visit Narek, who's going to have to give us something important here.
Think of the bridge. It's the ship.
Lo and behold, the dwarves had a ship the entire time. So that will reappear right here next to the dwarf cave, and that's going to give us our next progression.
Now, this is interesting, Maya, because not only the X-Ice Blue production kicking out the 2 black belts, you've got the canal here. You can go to Melmont, you can go to Earth Cave, you can go to Marsh Cave, you can go to Onrak if you really want to. I would think the next stop for both players might be Provoca.
Yeah, this seed just broke wide open, and Tristal's going to have a whole bunch of options. Edgeworth ran into the credit sequence here, and going back now, decides that he does need to cash in that TNT, so he figured that out. It was nice to see the credits, though.
That's right, and Troper Zero, our main programmer here, started all this madness that is able to bring you this game today. So we certainly like to thank him and our entire development team, the Nitzes, Tartipans, Meridian BC, all the play testers.
Oh, there we go.
Googles. Absolutely, thank you very much. Oh, what's that? Is that NUKE?
Yep, that was Nuku Nuku and level 2. And Harm 4. So that's
Wall.
looking great. Yeah, Wall, Cure 3, and Harm 4, all in level 2 white magic. That is a bonanza for Tristal, who has both a white magic caster and a black magic caster. Edgeworth, when he gets here, is going to have to make some decisions about how he wants to use those 3 slots he has in that level.
Yeah, Nuke's going to be definitely your #1 pick. We'll see what Edgeworth decides to pick up. Tristal's going to take on the Pirates now. Fire off that newly attained Nuke. Absolutely blowing up the Pirates now. He's going to get an incentivized item. We're about almost 5 minutes into this match, Maya. Based upon the spell selection, advantage to Tristal.
Yeah, so far. Oh, wow, floater.
Oh.
Okay, here we go, everyone.
As much as you like the floater, fans, and as much as the floater yields you the airship, you got to remember now, the airship and usage of the floater is canoe locked. So our players have the ship, and they've got the TNT. They've got really a lot of the world at their fingertips. They do not have that canoe at this point. They cannot get their airship quite yet. So I would certainly think that routes might start to diverge here.
Yep, Tristal being trolled there by Blue Mohawk guy and couldn't save for a little bit there. He's going to go ahead and check out Matoya. I do like this idea.
Yeah.
If you need to find the canoe in order to cash in that floater, you're going to have to figure out how to get there. And you can't leave chests unchecked.
I'm trying to think of situations, Maya, where you do leave chests unchecked. Trap tiles that you maybe know to be dangerous, trap tiles where you may know to be unrunnable, that you don't feel comfortable with, are situations that I can certainly think of where you might have to risk that one that might have something that you have to skip.
Yep, and there's the quick reset back out for Tristal. And I do like this. Now he knows that the progression item he's looking for is not there. It only took a couple of seconds. Now he can put that out of his mind and move on.
Yeah, Tristal interestingly elected to walk to Matoya, where the encounters are a little bit more prevalent on the step counter instead of taking the ship. But he's back in the ship, he's got that out of the way. It looks like he's headed toward Elfland.
Yep, Elfland makes a lot of sense now for a next call. Marsh Cave has to be in the back of their mind now as well.
Yep.
There are 4 treasure chests somewhere in the game that are hiding important items. Chances are relatively high that the canoe they're looking for might be hiding in one of these chests that they're looking for.
Warp at Black Magic level 3. That puts Marsh Cave potentially as a little bit more of an option early. Neither of these players, from my studies of them, and believe me, I've studied both these players extensively, as I've studied my broadcast partner tonight. Neither of them go to Marsh Cave, believe me. Both of our players are going to do their shopping. They're going to get spells. There's Bane, level 4 Black Magic, potentially here in Elfland. Exit's also at level 4 in White Magic. Where would you go after the shopping and doing everything that you can?
Well, you've got a couple of options here. You can go to Marsh Cave and full clear that. Earth Cave is on the table. At least the first 3 floors of it are, and we're watching Edgeworth sort of angle in that direction now. Those are probably the 2 major areas that you might want to try to go hide, or that might be hiding a progression item at this point.
In a match against, I played both these players in the Swiss rounds. Very, very difficult opponents, and I made moves on each of them as best that I possibly could. In this case, I would personally look at, if it was me, I would look at the Earth Cave. It would be a double dip potential scenario, but at least that first floor, get a warp charge and get that second floor in, hoping that my opponent wouldn't do that.
Yep, and what we're watching Edgeworth do now is he's taking the southern loop around with the ship. He's going to stop probably off here at Elfland to go ahead and pick up spells and resources. And then he's going to duck probably over into Crescent Lake, as I see chat mentioning Crescent as an option. There is an incentivized item being held by the Sages. You can get to it from the dock over on the Crescent Lake side. And so that's probably your natural first step before you need to start diving dungeons.
Yeah, like I said, I would love to jump into Earth here, get some money, maybe potentially something to sell, and then get to the Circle of Sages, but, that's just me. We haven't seen anything, I haven't caught pro rings or gold bracelets, may have missed it at this point. I've just got a feeling, there's the vendor item. The vendor item is the tail, 35,000 gold, it's in Elfland. I just got a feeling that these Sages are not going to give the canoe.
Yeah, they could give a whole lot of other things. They could give the rod, which would fully open Earth Cave. They could give the chime, which would open up Mirage Tower. There's a whole lot of ways that this progression could go at this point. One other thing I noticed is that Exit, I believe, fell in the second slot of level 4, which is going to be off the table for Edgeworth's Red Mage or Red Wizard for the entirety of the game.
Yes.
And so that is a spell that did not fall in Edgeworth's favor for his party.
The Oxio could be an option. They can sail, they can access Sea Shrine. This could be really good for both players if it is the canoe. And chat, Final Fantasy Randomizer and Speed Gaming fans, it could be something else which would probably be really good for you.
Chat suggesting all sorts of evil options for what the Sages could be holding. Uh-oh, Scorpions with Blizzard.
Uh-oh, trouble already here by Crescent Lake.
That makes me not want to go to Marsh ever.
Yeah, definitely. It could also be the Crystal. It could be the Adamant. The fetch quests are shuffled here. We're in the Elite 8. We're not doing Swiss flags anymore, where it's straightforward, let's duke it out. We're going to mix it up a little bit more, and that was, I believe, a gold bracelet in Crescent Lake. I didn't catch the price, though.
Not a whole lot there on the black magic side of level 6. Tristal is going to give us the next piece of information we need to figure out where we're going.
Oh, I can hear the boos from chat already.
So the runners are going to be happy. Chat is going to be upset. And Tristal and Edgeworth now pretty much have the entire board open to them. And a whole lot of progression items still yet to find.
"11 minutes into this seed, TristalMTG is in the air with the airship. Edgeworth right probably about less than a minute behind him. He's going to hit the air at the right around the 12-minute mark.
Yep, that's a negligible lead for Tristal right now. This is pretty much a neck-and-neck race. I see all sorts of stars of the Final Fantasy Randomizer community in chat, so thank you to everybody that coming out for this Battle of the Titans between Edgeworth and Tristal. Like I said at the beginning of the seed, these two runners are tied as far as races that they've been in together. And so this is going to break the tie tonight as, Edgeworth evened up their personal series last night. And Edgeworth is trying to take a second race here and go ahead and move on to the semis.
Tristal has headed north to the Canary Islands, digs out a Sun Sword. This is going to be his starter pack. Edgeworth, meanwhile, entering the Gurgu Volcano. He's going to hit the armory for his starter pack. Not too much so far. Unrunnable Grey Worms that could pop up again if that's similar formation in the Temple of Fiends Revisited later on in this game, especially if the Grey Worms pop up with something.
Edgeworth is right in that sweet spot of having 2 black belts in his party. One is dead, the other one does nothing. And, you know, at the end of the game, it'll be fine. But right now, you feel like you're playing with one arm tied behind your back.
You do. Edgeworth digs out a Coral Sword. Now that's going to be his best melee weapon for his red mage at this point in time. Tristal with the Sun Sword, he could probably trade in the Sun Sword for maybe some real estate, perhaps, or maybe a piece of armor, like a Pro Ring. As he heads to Melmont, he's going to check out their armor shop here and their magic shop.
This is throwing our commentary team off, too, because usually you find fun things like the Sun Sword, and you're happy to find them. Now, Tristal has absolutely no use for a Sun Sword. He could, put it on his wall.
Tristal makes his way to Sarda and Sarda's cave for an NPC shuffled item. It's the Chime.
At least Edgeworth finds the Ice Sword and has somebody that can equip that.
3 warp charges for Edgeworth now. He's got to be happy with that. He can maneuver around just a little bit more. He's going to take a trap tile. He's going to take this fight here, trying to get a little bit of levels, maybe. Mirage Tower is on the table with the Chime. Tristal heading directly to a classic play from Tristal. He almost always goes to Castle Ordeals early, making an interesting move here.
He might be looking to see what the first encounter is here. This is T-Rex territory.
Yeah, he's looking for his blue.
Ankilo is not probably what he's looking for, but he's going to take the encounter anyways.
Tristal firing Rub, trying to kick some shell here out of the Ankleo. Edgeworth gets out of the Gurgu Volcano and starts to go back in now. Gonna check all the chests here, looking for a potential full clear of at least the 2nd floor here.
So second encounter in this zone is the Steak and Wings that was popularized by Artea, one of our veteran runners. This does give a good amount of experience. You're going to need it for that black belt.
Oh yeah.
Tristal has to be, look at his party composition. Tristal has to be concerned about diving any dungeon worth some salt, because if he gets himself into trouble, bye-bye black belt.
See ya.
Well, there went all the experience he wanted the black belt to learn.
Yeah. The trick question, Mr. Versetti in chat, thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for joining me last night in the booth as well, Mr. Versetti. There's a couple things that Tristal was doing here. He's looking for T-Rexes. We have shuffled encounters. T-Rex, I think it's encounter 8. There's about a 1 in 6 or so shot somewhere in there that it could be shuffled up to encounters 1 through 3. That's what he would ideally like. But he's trying to get some levels here. Maya just certainly went through that. And also it gives him some more information about the step counters. It's essentially 3 moves all in one from the defending champion, TristalMTG.
So Edgeworth is also finding that his black belt is not long for the world anytime you dive into a dungeon. It died. Edgeworth is going to run into the same issues here. He's going to have a little bit of a better ability to go ahead and melee enemies down instead of Tristal. But Tristal's going to bring back his black belt. I agree with that idea.
Is this what you had talked about earlier, Maya, what Edgeworth is doing? Potentially two-manning it for a little bit with the red mage and the fighter?
I think you need to bring somebody up to a reasonable level so that you can kill things. Tristal's running into that sort of issue right now. It looks like he's going to perhaps make a play for Ordeals and see if he can survive. Edgeworth, taking encounters here in the volcano, is able to bring the fighter up to snuff a little bit, at least so that he can put him at the front of the party and take damage, because the black belt is made of tissue paper at the beginning of the seed, and you're not going to be able to dive volcano or dive really any other major fiend dungeon without getting some levels for your party first.
Nimbus Owl, thank you for joining us in chat. Maya, he's calling it a double dragon seed.
I love it.
I love it too. Bimmy and Jimmy themselves. TristalMTG has entered Castle Ordeals. You can almost always count on Tristal doing Castle Ordeals very, very early if you take that into account of your planning, if you are attempting to play your opponent a little bit. Tristal has done that now, and he's made very, very quick work of it. He's on the last floor.
Yeah, he's doing a great job of manipulating the encounter table right at the beginning. made his run through the pillars and ordeals with steps to spare. Now this is the floor where he needs to be super careful.
Oh yeah. Edgeworth returned to Crescent Lake, went to the clinic, only revived the red mage. Mm-hmm. You called it, Maya. You called that potential option of a 2-man.
At least for a little bit. I think you need to give the fighters some levels, and then you can decide later if you want to bring up 1 or 2 of your black belts back up to make it a 3-man party. Okay, these are the encounters now that Tristal needs to be very concerned about.
Mm-hmm. Mummies in here, man-cats, or excuse me, cat-man. Or both of them. I think they're both in here.
I do know the Argoyles have sleep touch, or the sleep spell at least. He's going to get through this encounter safely. He's almost there.
Level 10 for Tristal on 3 of his warriors now. Can he dig up one of the 4 loose chest items in here? No, he cannot. He digs up an Excalibur, but Maya, ain't gonna be much use.
Who can use that? Not that one. Not that one.
No,
not that one.
Guy in the ground.
Now what? Speaking of on the ground, Tristal's party is taking a nap. Oh gosh, they have Rub. Look out.
He's very susceptible to Rub here. He's down to the black, but he's going to try to run. He gets away. Pivotal time here early in this game here. We're under the 20-minute mark. He's got the information to the Ruby. There's really nothing else in here than the Excalibur.
Oh, Ice Blue, you have brought us a diadem of a seed this evening. Oh,
Tristal
press
perishes.
F to pay your respects for Tristal.
Tristal perishes to the forced encounter of zombie dragons. He didn't get initiative. He tried to fire a nuke to take him out. The zombie dragons melee attacked him and wiped the rest of his party. He's got the information. He knows there's an Excalibur in here, and he knows the Ruby is in here.
This is fascinating.
Back into Castle Hills.
I've got to. He must think that the Ruby might be useful later.
Could be. It does open up 4 chests. This will also be quick, because he knows the exact pillar shuffle maze. He knows he'll be on a different encounter table as well. Or maybe he did the same one, I'm not sure. But he definitely can get through this quickly. Maybe that's why he went back in.
The gold is also nice and useful. He has to know to stay away from the Argoyles this time. The mummies didn't show us anything last time, so this should be okay.
Edgeworth continues with the 2-man strategy. The fighter and the red mage. Double forced black belt. 2 forced characters here. It's going to be the rest of the tournament. At least 2, actually exactly 2. Some increasing difficulty coming up in the final 4, the semis, and the finals, but it'll always be 2. And we got a treat for you tonight. The franchise X Ice Blue has rolled double black belt tonight.
All right, so Tristal gets through the zombie dragon encounter, which is a nice bit of experience. He's got his Ruby, and he has his Excalibur, which will turn into houses or something, I'm sure. Let's see if this pays off, as Edgeworth is about to go find a Ruby of his own.
We'd like to remind you that it is doubleheader action here tonight. Speed Gaming, we're going to do it again at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, about an hour and a half from now. It's Game 2. The aforementioned, the franchise himself, X Ice Blue, he's up 1-0. He's trying to close out Minochi 85, the Buzzsaw, to try and move on to the Final 4. Should Minochi be able to win that? We're talking about Game 3 perhaps later tonight, we believe as well. That's right here on Speed Gaming. Same channel, same place. Demarine going to join you tonight. The ladies of Final Fantasy Randomizer are going to bring you that Game 2. X Ice Blue, Minochi, 9 p.m. Eastern.
We should have let them do this race, too. Who wants to listen to us? I'd much rather listen to Demarine and company.
Who wants to listen to a couple guys from Michigan, right? Go Blue.
Right. Go Green.
Oh. Boo, Ohio State?
I can agree with that.
We got on the same page. Just doing some shopping with that money that he got out of Castle Ordeals. Edgeworth using, he's going to use the warp spell here. He warped all the way back to the beginning. He's going to use that and try to navigate this pillar maze. I didn't catch, did Tristal have enough money to pick up the tail? Or he might not even be interested in the tail with the black belt.
Yeah, I think the tail is something that you might pick up very late if you're Tristal. He probably has all of the white and black magic spells that he needs for right now. And so level that black belt first before you go ahead and cash in the tail. Edgeworth is in a different sort of situation. The tail would be pretty welcome to him because that fighter turns into a knight and the red mage becomes the red wizard, and that's all much more interesting.
Tristal crashing into making an absolute mess of the Titan's Trove. B's the Titan. That's fantasy points, Maya.
That is. I have neither of these players in my fantasy league, so oops to me.
Clothing, an opal helmet, another helmet, and 83 shiny gold. Titan's Trove is a bust except for the fantasy points for anyone that has TristalMTG. Zardia, I can see him scrambling right now, writing it down.
So, Will, if you're Tristal, well, Tristal just landed at Peninsula Power, so apparently it's time for a pop grind. But where do you go next if you're Tristal at this point?
He definitely knows he needs levels. I've never been a Peninsula Power guy, personally. I'm going to try to make a move with whatever it is that I have that would play to my strengths. That was probably the Ordeals move. That's been done. Let's see. Gosh, probably the easiest dungeon, more than likely, would be the Volcano. I mean, you've got heal potions, you've got access to nuke. I would probably try to dive into the Volcano. How about you, Maya? What do you think?
You know, Earth Cave is starting to look more and more attractive to me, even though we don't have the rod. I think you need to find that first. There's got to be a progression item hiding here somewhere. It might be chime locked. We have found the chime. And so asking our runners to go into the Mirage Tower at this point with a dead black belt and itty bitty, paper thin mages is an awful thing to ask, but we might see this happen.
Yeah. Do you consider that move, heading to the Mirage Tower, to try to at least raid that first floor?
Yeah, I think you have to. There's so many chests there, and they are relatively easy to get to, especially with this encounter table being front-loaded with an easy encounter at the beginning. I think you can get to the first floor of Mirage Tower, and quite possibly the second with a reset, and check all of those chests just to know, and maybe take a couple encounters there along the way.
Yeah, perhaps some vampire encounter. You've got a couple nukes. Rainbow Poogle joining us in chat. She's going to be on the call later on tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern for Ladies' Night. Her and Demarine are going to put on a great show. Pointing out right now, and it's out of the way, and both of these players such masters of routing, the Waterfall. 6 chests, potential progression item, access to warp, definitely a potential option as well. You'd have to double dip the area, but at this point with the 2 Force black belts, you're really handcuffed a little bit.
Yeah, there's also access to mud goals there that might kill you, but that's always fun too.
We've all had that happen. Edgeworth finishing up his shopping now in Elfland, not finding a lot. He will not have access, Maya pointed out earlier, to exit. He's about to see that. It's in the second slot. He's staring at it right now saying, darn it. Tristal starts to raid the armory now, does not find much. We have not found an AoE casting item, a Thor's Hammer, anything like that.
That's also amazing for this party composition that we're making these runners do this evening, is that the black belt can't even cast Lit 2 or anything else that might be useful. He just needs to stand there and take hits until he dies at this point.
No, even a light axe, anything. Nothing so far for either player.
So chat, if you're in this situation, where do you go next? I want to hear some suggestions as to where our runners should be going. And going to bed is not an acceptable response.
Well, chat gives us the suggestions. Once again, we'd like to thank you, fans, for bringing us into your home tonight. Speed Gaming, thank you very much for bringing us into your family tonight for this great Elite 8 matchup. Maya gave the stats earlier. Edgeworth has played Tristal 19 times. Edge has won 9. Tristal has won 9. Zardia, who has just joined us in chat, won the other one. Taking care of business with a victory over both these players at the same time. And it's just an absolute real treat. Best of 3. Edgeworth took the one last night. Tristal trying to defend his title and try to win this game.
So a difference in progression items that I think Edgeworth is going to rectify right now. He's going to cash in that tail. We're about to get some wizards on the board. Does Edgeworth have the chime? And if he doesn't, where does he need to go to get it?
The chime was being held by Sarda over in the in Sarda's lakefront cave home, so that will certainly be available to Edgeworth. There was a match, actually, Edgeworth quite recently took on Fuchsia Fantasy, where both players, it was the newer flag set, and both players kind of neglected Sarda, right. and Sarda had a very important item, so I wouldn't think that Edgeworth would be able to do that again, but he might be headed that way right now. Maya, do you think that doing the class change here was perhaps facilitated by digging the Excalibur out of Ordeals?
That could be a good possibility as to why Edgeworth did it. Edgeworth might have also just said, damn the torpedoes, I'm going to two-man this, and not worry about a black belt at all. That's the way that this seed is unfolding, and we're watching Tristal struggle with just a white and a black mage. Edgeworth might be making the call now to go ahead and say, we're going to do this with just two characters. And they're the sleep Argoyles again. Yeah. We know what's after that.
Oof. Argoyle's starting to give it to Tristal now. His entire warrior party was put to sleep. He's going to miss that entire turn. Now he's going to try to run or nuke him. He gets the nuke off. He's going to wipe out these Argoyles. But Tristal, he's kind of treading water here, Maya, a little bit.
Yeah, you know it's an Ice Blue special when you're 28 minutes in and you're thinking actively about re-rolling your party.
You know, I was just thinking that, Maya. Is that even possible? I don't think so.
No, but, I mean...
Yeah.
You could, but it would probably not be a winning proposition at this point.
Edgeworth now feeling a little bit more comfortable. He is continuing his 2 light warrior strategy here. He's entering the volcano. He's got access to warp, no access to exit should he potentially get in trouble. He's got some spell charges now. He's got the Excalibur for melee attack.
You know, Edgeworth is going to dive lower volcano here, but I will be very, very interested to see whether or not he's going to try to take out the fiend at the bottom once he opens up the rest of those chests. 2-man party is all well and good, but really the concern here is that Edge has not found a ribbon. And if Carrie uncorks a blizzard or a blaze or something along those lines, these parties are just not going to stand up to that at this point.
We had a recent match that I was able to watch where Carrie got 3 rounds, Blizzard, Blaze, and something else, Damage Poison, I believe. But Edgeworth has an item, Maya.
So that leads to another item here at some point, and so the bottle has been found, which means that Edge will be headed to Gaia here shortly.
The bottle has been located. That's the first of 4 loose items. We don't know at this point if the bottle will be required. You could turn in that bottle and potentially get the bridge at this point, which would be a complete dead end. It could be the cube and be absolutely required. We don't quite know. But what we do know is that is 1 of 4 items that have just been located, and Maya Tristal's doing it. He's jumping into the Mirage Tower.
Yep, I do like this call. These chests are relatively easy to get to. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Edgeworth has picked up the first castable item. It's the Light Axe. And he also got the Wizard Staff there. That opens up even more potential options, even with the 2-man strategy that he's running right now against the Fiend of Fire Carrie. She's susceptible to status attacks.
She absolutely is. That's a great pickup to find here in the volcano. And that might be something you bring a black belt back to life for. And, you know, put a black belt right at the beginning of the party where Carrie can hit him. But maybe you get a cast of the Wizard Staff off beforehand.
Exactly. Opal Bracelet also dug out for Edgeworth now, one of the best pieces of armor in the game. Meanwhile, Tristal once again treading water here, trying to take out this Chimera. He's down to the Black Mage now, gets the nuke off, takes out the Chimera, but no, it's not enough. He's got to reset.
So not a whole lot here in Mirage Tower yet so far. Let's see how this side looks.
A house, 1,000 gold. Dragon armor has been picked up by Edgeworth now. Riches in the volcano, Maya.
Yep, Edgeworth just hit Yahtzee there with the dragon armor, especially running a fighter with a 2 black belt seed.
Wow.
That's you're gonna love to see that.
Zardia asked this in chat. What about taking a couple extra Agama fights here with these two warriors? We'll see what Edgeworth does. Meanwhile, Tristal's digging deeper now into the Mirage Tower, going for the greater than less than chests.
This is going to tell us the story of what Edgeworth wants to do here. If he takes additional Agama encounters, he might stick around. That was only a couple, though, so let's see what happens.
More options here. Game Boy F9, if you could joining us and you can hear us, the fun police are about to come from the Dragon Warrior game. It is the Red Dragon and the Red Dragon chest. Edgeworth has made it there now.
Well, this is the Red Dragon bracket we're in.
It is. When I saw that Red Dragon bracket, Maya, I wanted nothing to do with that.
I was
being back here.
I was so happy I was on the other side of the bracket. I was like, well, at least I don't have to play any of them.
Yeah. Edgeworth takes out the Red Dragon, doesn't get anything, takes on another Agama. Edgeworth moving on now, headed. We're going to find out if he heads towards Carry. With the addition of the Dragon Armor, Sun Sword Excalibur, I don't think that it's any question Edgeworth is going to definitely go after the Fiend of the Fire.
5 more chests for Tristal to check on the greater than side. Or I guess that's the less than side. I'm not very good at math, so don't listen to me.
Tristal loses another black belt. He's down to the white and the black mages now. Glare from the enemies. Catman starting to pound Tristal now. White
Alrighty,
mage
chat.
Down.
Get your Bless RNGs out for Edgeworth. Here we go.
Carry's lead skill is Ink. Edgeworth has got to see that. He attacks with the Excalibur. Not much, about 100 damage. Edgeworth's going to turn up the heat a little bit. Here comes Nuke from the Red Wizard for only 114. Round 3 now, Edgeworth against Carry. The Excalibur comes out. 246, down goes Carry. Level 17 and 18 for both Edgeworth's Light Warriors now.
Yep, and so my next question for Chad, as we see the first orb lit in this contest, is, okay, let's say that Edgeworth is going to two-man this. I want to hear from chat, where are you comfortable with your levels in order to successfully do a two-man? What do you think, Will?
If he's going to check a lot more chests. I know Edgeworth is a fan of the Mazmoon. You get a 5th hit with the Mazmoon at level 24. In prepping with two-man, you better be able to do some damage. I would think that that's his plan. Plan A. I would think plan B would be, he's already got the Excalibur. Another hit pops, I believe, level 29. So
yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I believe it's level 29. So I would look to get at least level 29 on the leader, on the knight, in that area.
I'm risk averse, so I'm thinking 32, 33 myself. But then again, I don't win a lot of races, so probably the answer is high 20s, I think would be safe enough to do this. I saw Black Shirt and Dragon Sword. Nobody can use that.
Not much. Tristal's move into the Mirage Tower. I like the play, Maya. I think that was a good play. It didn't work out, though.
No, it didn't work out, and he died a whole bunch of times doing it, but now he knows that that's not where he needs to be either. And so he can go ahead and let that go. Edgeworth, with his progression item in the bottle, I don't believe... Did he cash that in? I don't think so yet.
I do not believe so. Edgeworth headed directly from the volcano after taking out Carry to the ice cave that's nearby. Did not head to Gaia. Tristal headed to the volcano now, looking to dig out his bottle, potentially light his first orb. Are you nervous about this dive if you're Tristal, Maya?
If I were Tristal and Edgeworth, I would have been nervous from the very beginning of this seed, because a double black belt it's way outside of my comfort zone. But, I mean, I think at this point, Tristal is doing the right thing. He knows he needs to check more chests. Again, he has exit, so he can leave at any point. Take some encounters, do some multiple dives here. It's not the fastest thing in the universe, but he can make progression. He just needs to be careful doing it.
Edgeworth digs the adamant out of the incentive chest. He uses the warp trick as another fetch quest that could lead, again, it could lead to the bridge, could be nothing, could lead to the cube, could be everything. We don't know at this point. Edgeworth is going to continue on in the ice cave now. I think this is the correct play. He's got spells, he's got melee weapons. Unless some sort of pack of enemies with some sort of paralysis touch or some sort of deadly spell run into him, he should be in pretty decent shape, even with the 2 light warriors. Yep,
even with the 2 light warriors, he has to feel pretty good. Oh, wow, a loot. And a bottle. Look, side-by-side progression items.
Oh.
So that's another one. That's 2 of 4 now.
2 of 4 now. We know that loot's required, Maya.
Absolutely. So that's 2 of the 4 required items we found. Going back to the 2-man strat, you never feel comfortable doing it. There's always something out there that can catch your party with their trousers down, and you're done. I mean, you have no room for error with a 2-man party.
Paralysis touch. A big pack of enemies with mute can severely hinder your attack power. Something that's unrunnable that you don't want to deal with. 2-man strategy, it can be very risky. It's been used before. Zardia joining us in chat. I've seen him use it before. Boom or bust, maybe a little bit. Either way, Edgeworth is going for it. There's another one. Wow.
Okay, Ice Cave value today with 2 progression items hiding in chests. That's 3 of 4.
3 of 4 now. Ice Cave holding 2 of the 4, at least 2. Loose items in chests. The crystal has been located for Edgeworth now.
Okay, there's a very valuable pro ring pickup too, because we still, with all of the chests that we've watched our runners open, we have not seen a ribbon yet. And so a pro ring will do it in a pinch for now.
Tristal digs out his wizard staff and light axe. Still with the 3-man, starting to heal up here. He's going to dig out his opal bracelet now. Going to be happy to see that. Where do you put that opal bracelet if you're Tristal? Is it the standing black belt?
You know, I'd actually think I'd put it on the white mage right now. And the reason I do that is because I want to be able to exit out of here and save my progress. Especially all the levels that I'm gaining, especially with the black belt. I'm protecting the person that can get me out of here if I need to.
Tristal does something kind of in the middle. He does put the opal bracelet on the standing black belt, but puts a gold bracelet on the white mage. So essentially the same sort of thing. That tells me right there that Tristal's in for the long haul with BB-8, his top black belt warrior.
Edgeworth now just a few steps away from escaping with his Ice Cave riches. And now he's probably going to open up a whole bunch of progression, and we'll find out where we're going next.
Question from Shadow Walker in chat. Have we seen Life for Life 2? If we have, it wasn't something that stood out to us, but Melee Wizard, our tracker tonight, says he believes Life 2 may have been at Melmont. Level 5.
I'm curious now from Tristal, are we actually going to have an opportunity in this tournament to share some Agama facts? Is this actually going to happen?
Yep. Edgeworth has turned in that newly acquired crystal Matoya can see again, and she hands over the ability to breathe underwater for the Light Warriors. It is the Oxyale. Good routing from Edgeworth here. He heads over to the Dwarf Cave, hands in his newly acquired adamant, digs out the slab. Great routing here, Maya. Edgeworth now jumps over to nearby Melmont. He's going to translate his slab. There's Life 2. It's in the second slot. Look at that. The Red Wizard can learn it.
Yep, that's fantastic. That's a great pickup for Edgeworth, who can bring up his one party member after he dies. You can bring him back.
Yep.
Oh, the knight died. Let's bring him back.
Yeah.
Oh, the knight died. Let's bring him back.
Pro rings, 10,000 gold with over 100,000. Edgeworth's going to pick up at least 2 of those. Is he going to get more? He's equipping. Edgeworth is equipping stuff on the 2 passed away black belts so far.
This is going to be a fascinating decision for Tristal to decide whether or not he wants to try to take Carrie down here.
Wizard staff could play a part in that. We thought about that with Edgeworth. It didn't really matter with all his meleeing and the nuke. I would certainly think that the wizard staff could come into play along with the heavy hitter of the nuke spell.
Agama's not hitting very hard. They're just playing annoying because you have to go back and heal up your party members every time, or depoison them.
Fade, level 7. It's available in Gaia. That's going to be pretty much out of the picture. We we'd like to remind you that tonight as well, also at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Game 3, it's the rubber match. Broster takes on Salty Fry. It's going to be on Speed Gaming 5. Mr. Bassetti and the Hangry Canuck going to join you for that one. Game 3, the winner moves on to Final Four.
That's awesome. We're going to have our first person in the Final Four, unless Edgeworth can do this tonight first. But yeah, all of our quarterfinal races are coming down to it now. There's no room for error left anymore, as we see Edgeworth get the rod from the Lady in the Lake.
The Oxiel, the Slab, and the Rod. Now, we're missing definitely the cube. Missing the crown. Waterfall is a potential destination. If the cube pops out of the waterfall, that would give us all the information that we need, Maya. And it's a potential that that fourth item located somewhere out in the world could be the bridge, and our players won't need it.
You always have to wonder if you're going to go into a dungeon and full clear it, or go to a place like the waterfall and not have to go there in order to complete the seed. You know, and for Edgeworth, that's kind of an interesting consideration right now. I don't know if Edgeworth has warp or not. He does.
Yeah.
So he can get out of the waterfall quickly if he needs to.
Yeah. Plus, it's 6 chests. You can potentially hit that mummy trap tile, get some more levels. I like to try to skip it when I was trying to practice. Should I have made it this deep? And it never worked. Edgeworth's Slab translation has turned into the crown after he visits Lefane. He makes a direct beeline for Northwest Castle, picks up the herb from the king, but Maya, that's a dark elf.
Oh, shock of shocks, it's actually Astos.
The king with all the friendly pet bats is the dark elf Astos?
And the dank herb, don't forget the herb. Well, this is actually more thematic. At least, you know, Astos was holding the item that put the prince to sleep and got Matoya out of the picture.
Well, there's the cube. That's Maya, is that go mode?
We might be very close to it.
I
haven't seen a key yet.
Missed a key. Okay, missed a key. Thank you. That could be the 4th loose item, and if it is, that would certainly open the door for Tristal. Tristal's definitely behind Edgeworth now, I would certainly think.
Yeah, and so the party composition difference is starting to really take its toll here, as Edgeworth has opened up a little bit of a lead just because he could run that first volcano dungeon a little bit faster than Tristal could. And Tristal did go to check Mirage Tower. Edgeworth has not done that yet. And so there is a little bit of time to gain back there.
It was interesting, Maya, because we were talking early about the spells and Provoca, and after that we thought advantage Tristal. But a move by Edgeworth that is so far working out quite well. 2-man strategies, 2 warriors for Edgeworth. He's been playing this now for a while, and so far so good.
Yeah, we'll see whether or not that holds up into the mid and into the late game, especially whether or not two party members is going to be able to finish this off.
Tristal's going to turn in his bottle. He's going to pick up his rod from the ferry now. Edgeworth starting to maneuver through the waterfall, making good use of the Excalibur and the Sunsword. He's got melee weapons, 2 light warriors. About 70% of the way there now.
And Edgeworth is going to go ahead and check progression here, and this is really going to tell the tale as to whether or not Edgeworth has everything he needs, or whether or not that last item is hiding in a chest, because as I see chat talking here, I think it's just key and bridge that are out there, and one of them has to be here, and the other one has to be in a chest.
Is it the bridge? Is it the Mystic Key? Tristal's making his way to the waterfall area now. Tristal does not have his Oxiel. Edgeworth does. He was able to patiently route in this trip to the waterfall with a potential trip to the Sea Shrine. High absorb, high evade nightmares. They cause trouble for us as kids. They're causing a little bit of trouble for Edgeworth now, slowing him down just a little bit. Tristal catching up, making quick work of the waterfall, Tristal is.
That light axe pickup from earlier really pays dividends here with these large undead packs.
Do you take another fight or two here if you're Edgeworth with the two-man strategies?
You could. I'd rather see what the robot has first.
Yeah, well, yeah. And it is. Oh,
here we go. So, bridge means that we have some more chests to open up.
We're just past the 45-minute mark. TristalMTG he knows that he's struggling a little bit based upon the party composition. What he does not know is that the best thing, Out of Bounds bat has been seen for TristalMTG now, fantasy points, is that the best thing that could have happened. He's going to see the bridge, he's not going to be happy about it, but this is a good thing for him in this match, I would certainly think.
As I see chat cheer and applaud that it was the bridge that was found. And not the last progression item we're looking for. Also, thank you to Shun Nobody for a 3-month in a row subscription to Speed Gaming. I know that everybody in Speed Gaming land thanks you for your support. Thanks for being here tonight.
Edgeworth making the play to go ahead and head left, it looks like.
I completely agree. I want nothing to do with the mermaids until I know I need to be there. At this point, stay on target with the fiends. If you need to loop back around to go to places that you didn't need to be at least that's my philosophy. You can open chests along the way to killing fiends.
Right, exactly. Maybe you could find that Mystic Key on your way to Kraken and not have to double back. I always think this is the right play when you're looking for one key item. If you're looking for more key items, in my opinion, Maya, that opens up maybe the mermaids first.
That's perfectly fine. I think it also matters whether or not you feel like you're ahead or you're behind.
Oh, yeah.
And if you feel like you're behind, then you can start to take risks, and I often do start to take risks and do stupid things like going to Marsh Cave. And then I fall even farther behind. So don't listen to me. Watch Edgeworth and Tristal instead.
Yes, definitely watch Edgeworth, Tristal. Sit back, enjoy the show. This show tonight, the first of a doubleheader here on Speed Gaming Prime. Wukleosis, Ik Ben Maya here for their maiden voyage together. Teacher, Maya, student, Wukleosis joining us later. The ladies of Final Fantasy Randomizer. It's Demarine 2, along with Ms. Shenanigans herself, a Rainbow Poogle at 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. Game 2. It's the franchise against the Buzzsaw. Ice Blue, Minochi. Minochi tried to tie it up and force a Game 3. It's going to be great tonight with the ladies, Maya.
You know, I almost want to forbid anybody else from ever doing commentating again and just let, like, Demarine and Carolyn and Poogle and Mogwai just take it from here for the rest of the tournament. You know, it would be our best finish yet.
I'm a fan, definitely a fan. Tristal has headed towards the Earth Cave. Now, he didn't have Oxyel after that. Dive up in that area, digs up a katana, not going to help him. Reset, he's going to dive back in again.
Yeah, I understand why.
Digs up a katana.
I understand why Tristal is doing this. They're easy chests to check. He probably does feel like he's running in mud a little bit here with the party composition. And so he can take a couple minor risks here and there and open chests up. We know he needs to go to Ice Cave. That's going to be the key that unlocks this seed for him. And it looks like we might even see a level 2 dive here.
He's got the rod. I think do you think he's avoiding Ice Cave, perhaps? Or is it just closer that is Earth Cave? Given this party and all the, we've talked about it, the treading of water, I would be very concerned about Ice Cave at this point. It's always done a lot of us in so many times.
Well, and there's an incentive item there too, and I think you can't forget about it. What Tristal doesn't know is that there are 2 other items also hiding there. Oh, Edgeworth found a ribbon, so I believe that's the first ribbon we've seen.
First ribbon has been picked up from Edgeworth. He puts it directly on the red wizard. I think play.
You know, the question here for Edgeworth is that Kraken is looming here with a 2-man party. And, you know, the knight is pretty beefy at this point, and we'll be able to take a hit or two. I'm wondering if we're going to see those black belts get resurrected.
Life 2, level 5 for the Red Wizard. I believe he's got a 2 or 3 charges of that. I certainly think he probably even bring up both of them and put one in the lead. Certainly at least one in the lead.
Black felt sacrifices for the Kraken god we might see.
Notice Edgeworth takes the trap tile as he checks this chest. This trap tile right here is 2 gray sharks. And that formation, the other trap tile is the seafood platter. A lot of people take that seafood platter. I don't know why, Maya, but they do. I certainly always suggest taking that chest right there.
Yeah, I prefer sharks myself. The seafood platter tends to have an inordinate amount of horrible things attached to it, like nuke or trance or something awful like that. So the double Gershark encounter and this one here, the Gershark Wizhack encounter is a great experience to pick up.
It is. Tristal not having much luck. If you take a look at our wonderfully designed tracker down there, it doesn't have, there's not a lot of, casino going on down there for Tristal right now. Edge definitely has an advantage. Tristal just can't get it into a higher gear, it kind of seems like. It's just not happening.
And, speaking of tracking, Melee Wizard is one of our veteran trackers and is just doing a fantastic job tonight and throughout the entire tournament.
Damage poison from the Eye Mages wipes Tristal. More trouble, Maya.
Gross. That's an encounter that Edgeworth did not see in the Ice Cave, to my knowledge. And so Tristal finds it here. The story so far has got to be the location of the Mystic Key. If it's one of the last places Edge checks, that's going to open the door for Tristal. But just the encounters and the chests have just not been there for the defending champion tonight. Yeah, I would agree with that. Sub story of all of this, of course, is the hilarity of the party selection and the decision of Edgeworth to go in a different direction than Tristal here is really resulting in 2 very different seeds. Okay, so if you're about to reach Kraken with the 2-man party, are you going to bring both of the black belts up? Is that your plan here?
Sure, why not? Absolutely, definitely one in the first slot, but why not use the second Life 2 charge? I wouldn't. He's got multiple charges of it. I would certainly think.
You might as well.
Yeah, it might as well, because Kraken, Kraken wants to push over. It can cause trouble. And, you've got, I don't think he's got any castable weapons or anything like that, but essentially to take a hit and try to avoid a hit on the Knight or potentially the Red Wizard.
And we're going to find here real shortly what Kraken has in store for Edgeworth. I have had many a run just go completely off the rails by underestimating Kraken 1.
I have too, yes. Experience Pinata Battle, 3,000 experience. Another one for Edgeworth. It is unrunnable. Another 3,000 experience coming up for his 2 warriors. 3,000 experience each. We'll take it.
Yeah, that's very nice. Tristal looks like he's going to go ahead and finish off this entire dungeon and get his second orblet too.
So using the rod now, digging deeper into the Earth Cave. The Soil Cave, as Tristal calls it.
Yep, got to be careful here. Those images lurk down here as well. All right, we've got 2 black belts. Meeting Kraken, this will go well.
Edgeworth taking on Kraken, 229 damage already. Kraken already fighting back with Ice 2. And the top master stayed up. Down to 1 knee, but stayed up. If it's a melee attack, the plan worked. Let's see. Edgeworth continues to attack with a nuke, though, for 175 damage. Here comes the Excalibur. 4 hits, 165. Kraken fires back again with fire, too. Both the shields are down. He's back to the 2 warriors. Quad X from Edgeworth now. Ineffective, no good. Fighting back with the Excalibur for 228. Uh-oh. Kraken giving it back to Edgeworth here, Maya.
8 hits. Look out.
Cure 2. Edgeworth starting to adjust now. Lightning 2 again from Kraken. Here comes the Excalibur. 4 hits, 302 damage is good. Down goes Kraken to the 2 light warriors that Edgeworth has selected to be his heroes.
I didn't realize we were doing a remake of the game where there's only 2 white warriors now instead of 4.
Edgeworth jumps back in now. I can only think this is a visit to Rainbow Poogle, are you out there? We're gonna see him. A visit to Rainbow Poogle's ladies, looking for the Mystic Key, the final piece of the puzzle to make Edgeworth start to put that foot on the gas a little bit here.
This is the floor that always makes me wonder about whether or not I want to do right side of Sea Shrine, because there are a couple chests that are way out of the way on this floor. And so I tend to just not do it at all, because why would I only half dive and then have to come back later? But it looks like he's going to go check mermaids first.
Tristal's starting to close in on Lich now, the Fiend of the Earth. First he's got to fight through a battle of arachnids. There's trolls in here. Speaking of trolls, there's the double troll fight. Edgeworth fires Bane into the unrunnable red Sahags and wizard Sahags. Poison smoke all over the place, thins him out.
Bane is super useful down here with these Sahags. In fact, Bane is pretty effective against a lot of enemies in the Sea Shrine.
Oh yeah. Poison smoke. TristalMTG initiates the fight with Lich now, looking to light his second orb. Tristal starts to attack. Harm 4 from the White Mage for 172. A nuke right behind for 175. Lich, who are you? ABC!
Bye, Lich. You know, Tristal is holding pace here. That was his second orb. And Tristal will eventually go to where he needs to go in order to get progression. The longer it takes Edgeworth to find this Mystic Key, the more opportunity Tristal is going to have to pull even in this race.
If the key isn't here... Oh, he's going to Marsh.
Oh boy.
He's making a move here. He's got to feel behind, Maya.
I can hear Fuchsia Fantasy screaming from here about Marsh.
I like this. I think he feels behind.
Yep.
He has not been to Ice Cave. That is where the loot and the crystal are located. The crystal is what yields the Oxyale, so that he can just get into Sea Shrine. They're both in the Ice Cave. He has not been there.
And I love it. Marsh Cave, you know, living up to its name, something had Zap. This is exactly the Marsh Cave that you expect.
Oh, yeah.
And
Blizzard right off the bat. Scorpions ambush Tristal, get initiative, and both fire Blizzard directly into the defending champion, but Tristal's able to get away.
This is why people don't like to do Marsh.
No matter what you do, shuffle and run. There's another one. He got ambushed again. Ambush Cave sometimes never changes. You can shuffle the unrunnables, you can shuffle the ambush raid, shuffle whatever it is that you want. Marsh Cave is still a pain.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Okay.
That is it. That is the fourth of 4 chests, and Tristal strikes it huge in Marsh Cave.
Here, I was going to ask you this about 2 minutes ago, Maya. You're going to Marsh Cave last, more than likely, because you're headed to the floating fortress, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Looking for that.
I would not go to Marsh until probably the very end. There's a ribbon for Tristal. Look out, this race just turned on its head.
Yeah.
Because Tristal still has some obvious places to go. And Edgeworth now needs to make the call to go to Marsh to finish this season.
That's not going to happen. He's going to do Earth, floating fort. There's no way.
It's not something I would normally see Edgeworth do. So we're going to have to see whether or not he can pull that out here. This race has flipped on its head, and Tristal's back in the driver's seat as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know if I would go that far. If he digs some things out of here that could really help him, a black shirt, something along those lines. It's definitely shifted. Edge was in the driver's seat. I think they're fighting over the steering wheel now, for sure. That's for absolute sure. Tristal's got to get to Ice Cave. Now, I think to make that play what I like to call a potential game changer.
Oh boy, here we go. So you are correct that Tristal's going to open a bunch of chests here that Edgeworth probably never will. Oh, hello,
Blaze. Where'd that come from? Yeah.
And so Tristal will give a little bit of time back here, but now this is absolutely all on Edgeworth's shoulders about when he decides to dive Marsh. You know, and here he is at Mirage Tower. Tristal has already been here, and so he's tracking over places that Tristal has been.
Here's a scenario that is quite possible. Power Gauntlet, Maya. If Edgeworth gets that key late, like we predict and like we think is quite likely, what if Tristal digs out like the Power Gauntlet and the Masmoon out of these keylock chests or something like that, and he gets it this early? Wow, that could be one heck of a scenario.
Yeah, it absolutely could. The other side of that is that Edgeworth could find those himself here in Sky Cave, or whatever people like to call it these days. And so there's a lot of great night appropriate items that Edgeworth could be finding if he's going to go ahead and full clear Sky. And there's a really good chance he's going to do that at this point.
Locked Dwarf Cave now for Tristal. I'm thinking there's something in here, maybe a ribbon or something. Let's find out. There it is!
Wow.
See? The tides, you can feel them, Maya. The tides are starting to turn here. It took an hour. At the hour mark, Tristal makes a move. I can only think it was a move. He heads to Marsh Cave, digs out the missing component that Edgeworth does not have. It's the Mystic Key. Tristal cashes that in and picks up the versatile Masmoon weapon.
Yep, and Tristal's black belt just became a knight of sorts, and can swing that Masamune to his heart's content, which is going to make this Ice Cave play even sweeter for Tristal once he dives this and finds everything he's looking for.
Now, we talked about that too. I said it, I thought that if Tristal wants to win this, I figured Ice Cave would have to be next. He's gone to the Ice Cave. Back when we were growing up, Maya, when something exciting like this was going on, whether it be, perhaps like a Packer Bear game, the oldest rivalry in the NFL, or perhaps Michigan State, I always said, set your VCRs. Well, we don't really have those anymore. I think I got a couple in the basement somewhere, but I'm going to use
that. Chad is like, what are VCRs? What are those?
Stay tuned. Get out your VODs. Watch it again. Enjoy it. Speed Gaming tonight, bringing you Final Fantasy Randomizer. It's the Elite 8 of the 2018 spring and now into summer tournament. And I'm telling you, this is going to be a good match. This is really shaping up. Back and forth, back and forth.
So now we know a little bit of the story here of what Edgeworth is going to find or not find as he goes into Sky Cave. We still haven't seen Power Bonk, and Power Bonk would be great for Edgeworth to find. We have not seen the white shirt. That has not been found yet. And so there are a couple of good items that Edgeworth can still find here.
Was the white shirt in Earth Cave?
No, I think that was the black shirt.
Okay. Edge has one ribbon. TristalMTG one ribbon.
Melee and everybody else in chat is correcting me. White shirt has been found in Earth 2.
And that's another potential thing, and I gotta think it's gonna happen. After Edgeworth goes in here, does not dig out the Mystic Key, Earth Cave is next. I don't think it's Marsh. Tristal uses the warp trick, digs out his adamant, turning that in will yield the slab. Tristal's gonna continue on here now. You can see his tracker at the bottom. Melee Wizard again doing all the tracking for us tonight. Veteran tracker for us, Maya. He's been great.
Yeah, Melee Wizard and all of the volunteers in our Discord, and I see people encouraging people to join the Discord. You should absolutely do that. It will improve your life, freshen your breath, make you more attractive. So absolutely join the Discord. But really, thanks to all of our volunteers, commentators, trackers, restreamers, the people at Speed Gaming, the people on our other sister network, Randomania. For helping to make this tournament just amazing. It's been our best one yet, and I think we're only just getting started. Ooh, look, a ribbon for Edgeworth.
Second ribbon for Edgeworth. Loot has now been located for Tristal. Again, the tides trying to turn. Defense sword.
Yep, that's super nice to find.
Okay, it's been picked up for Edgeworth now. Again, Edgeworth continuing his two-man strategy here. He's been going after two-man for 42, 43 minutes, somewhere in there, and he's sticking to his plan.
Yep, he's sticking to his guns, and hopefully it will end up working out for him. You never really know what the Temple of Fiends Revisited are going to have in store for you, and whether or not a two-man is going to make you feel safe until you're down there.
Or this floor, or the next floor. You could have rock calls with Nuke.
Ugh. Tristal finding the second progression item of 3 here.
So, Tristal about to pick up the Crystal and Ice Cave. And TristalMTG is going to be our player. He's going to be our first player to pick up all 4 loose items in this match now.
He has a little bit of quest chaining to do in order to really call go mode. But yeah, he essentially has all of the progression item he needs. Now he just needs to decide whether or not he has the levels and the equipment in order to do this safely.
Pro Cape has been dug up from Edgeworth now. He's finding good things, the defense sword. He's got the black shirt. All he wants is the Mystic Key.
Ah, that lovely ringing sound in your ears. So chat, if you're TristalMTG and you're approaching Go mode here, and you've got a black belt, a white mage, and a black mage, a couple questions for you that I want to hear an answer for. First off, are you going to class change? Or are you happy with where you're at? And second, if you're going to 3-man this, what are your levels that you kind of want to get to? Tristal doing a little bit of item shuffling around. Edgeworth is opening chests, and lo and behold, there is the Power Bonk. Founded on the 3rd floor of Sky, up in the 6th chest room on the upper right-hand side. And the Vorpal. Some people would call that a game changer. Oh! Some people would call it party trash.
What?
You decide.
What?
So Power Bonk and Vorpal found in Sky Cave. Tristal trying to get out of the ice cave here safely. Edgeworth still checking chests, looking for that last progression item. He is not going to find it here in Sky Castle, but growing on levels and building on levels. And so everybody, we are nearing Warmech time here at the race. Let us know a little bit, maybe a Bless RNG or two will bring Edgeworth out to fight Warmech, a little 2-man Edgeworth versus Warmech action. Tristal running about, doing a little bit of party manipulation, trying to get his black belt alone. He's going to do that against a wizard encounter.
He's going to take on the eye.
Yep, he's going to do a little bit of an eye grind. And so while he is doing that, Edgeworth is nuku-nukuing away, and we're about to see if we can get ourselves a Warmech.
We'll see how long Tristal decides to take here. We're going to call the hour 10 mark. This could swing the tides a little bit of the other way, especially if Edgeworth does hit Marsh Cave before Earth Cave. It's possible. Probably that will be the next critical decision in this matchup. Just a minute into his fighting of the eye now. Bane Sword has been picked up by Edgeworth. One of my favorite weapons, Maya. Tristal continues his fight against the eyes. Nice experience-rich green Medusa fight. Not too many of them. You'd like to see more. Another eye. Multiple eyes everywhere now. The original Beholder was actually the name of the eye back in the original game when it was released overseas. It was renamed and a few different things were changed. A few spell names were changed in the American version release, the one that we know. Again, 2 eyes. Both players like the eyes. Got to be Edgeworth for sure. He's closing in, nearing level 30. Continuing his clear of the spider room now. Looking for the mystic key. Meanwhile, Tristal, in his about 2 minutes now, he's using on the eye. He's level 23 with his black belt.
Yeah, I'm a little curious to see how high he goes here. You know, I gotta think probably level 32 feels really good for a black belt, but are you gonna take the time to do it? Oh look, it's the Bridge of Destiny.
There it is, the Bridge of Destiny. Edgeworth gets an encounter, but is not the big tin can Warmech. Not yet for Red Hydra's unrunnable Red Hydra.
This is an interesting strategy for Edgeworth. I would have sat there and really thought about bringing the black belts up earlier, at the beginning of the Bridge of Destiny, so that it doesn't become the Bridge of Disaster.
It could very well be. We've all had it happen. I mean, you could hit unrunnables here, heirs, sorcerers can have something to potentially paralyze you, but Edgeworth gets through, has initiated the fight with Tiamat now.
Crystal's in trouble too. This is not what Tristal wanted to find.
Uh-oh. Mage Staff. Tristal prepared for this. You wonder why he won the first tournament and why he continues to succeed. That's it. Uh-oh. Damage poison from the Eye Mages. Oh. He got out of it, Maya.
And meanwhile, back over on the other side, Edgeworth has a sleeping knight, which is not what you want to see in a 2-man party.
Merely a nap. Quad X from Edgeworth isn't enough. But a big whack for 252 from the Excalibur. Edgeworth going back to Quad X now, trying to erase Tiamat. Here we go, Quad X erased, terminated, down goes Tiamat.
And that's That's 3 orbs, here we go.
Tristal started this solo black belt fight, ran into a little bit of trouble with the Eye Mages, got out of it because of his preparation. He had the Mage Staff ready for that. At the 1 hour, 10-minute mark, he's been doing that for 4 minutes now, but he's 1 shot in the eye. Level 27 for the black belt now. What's the target here, Maya? Is it 31?
Yeah, 32? I'm probably going to 31 or 32, and then you can actually probably hand that Masamune off to a white wizard or a white mage, and voila, you have two damage dealers up front.
Tristal he's got all the items, sort of. He's got access to them via fetch quests. Edgeworth does not. That is the story. Where is Edgeworth going to go? Edgeworth is going... he's going to Northwest Castle.
Which makes sense, right? He's gonna check this out. Oh, Edgeworth is like, oh, I've already been here.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's going to Earth Cave, Maya.
Yep.
Probably the right play.
Yeah, it's the natural decision to make. We know that the progression item for which he seeks is not here. But it'll be a relatively quick clear for Edgeworth, unless the poison eye mages appear.
Right, Edgeworth does not have that information. Gargoyles cause a little bit of trouble that can slow him down a little bit. Tristal's into over his 5th minute now, taking out this eye for his black belt. We'd like to remind you, a little over a half hour from now, the ladies of Final Fantasy Randomizer, Demarine, Rainbow Poogle are going to take over from the guides from Michigan and bring you Minochi 85 and X-Ice Blue Match 2. X-Ice Blue looking to move on to the Final 4. Can he take out Minochi? Minochi wants nothing more than to force a rubber match for a Game 3 scenario. He wants to get to the Final 4. We're going to find that out here in less than an hour, right here on Speed Gaming.
And it looks like Tristal is done here, and this is a scary portion of any run. After you've gotten your levels, but you are not free and clear yet.
Mazmoon wielding black belt takes out a Frost Dragon. Tristal trying to get out of here, said my. He's gonna try to run here instead of using the lightning 2 guns, and he gets away. I can only think that Tristal goes and does the fetch quest now. If he does that, the Adamant will give the Oxyale. He'll have access to the Sea Shrine.
Yeah, he's got to feel pretty close to go mode at this point. You've got the levels you want on your black belt. You've got the spell charges that you need, so I don't think we're going to see a tail buy from him. He just needs to go ahead and cash in these items so that he knows he's in go mode.
We'd also like to remind you that tonight, also at 9 p.m. Eastern, Game 3, Bratster taking on Salty Fry. That's going to be over on Speed Gaming 5. The Hangry Canuck and Mr. Versetti going to bring you that show. That winner will move on to the Final Four.
So things are starting to resolve here on all 4 of our quarterfinal matches. I know that Arson Horse won against Fuzzy Maid, so congratulations to Arson Horse. That's our first Final Four participant, but by this evening, we may have a couple other ones as well.
How about some of these new players here in the chat? Our sports bring it to the fun.
Hello, how do we sound now, everyone?
Look at them roboting us all over the place.
I know. Beep boop. Hi, everyone. We've secretly replaced your commentators with robots. Let's see if anyone notices.
Is it better now? Hooray! Okay, we got a hooray from Rainbow Poogle. TristalMTG
Awesome.
has translated his slab, made his way to the Fane.
Yep, so Tristal's doing those fetch quests that we were hoping for. Will, it sounded like you were trying to ask a question before you went all digital on us. Do you want to try it again?
The new players in this tournament, the Fuzzy Mages, all the damage and all the carnage that Fuzzy Mage did. Just taking out people left, right, and center. No one saw it coming. Arson Horse to the Final Four. They went at it. I won a couple games that I never thought I could ever really even stand a chance at. Me and you duked it out
to say, no,
as undefeateds. And how about these new players and all the damage they're doing? They're learning so fast, and they've really I think they brought a lot to this community and in this game recently.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I just off the top of my head, I can think of amazing races from yourself, from Fuzzy, from Arson Horse, from High Spirits, from Tilo, from Tyrannex, from Falconic, from Demon Frog, and I'm probably missing about another half dozen people that are amazing additions to this community. Not to mention all of the other people that have been helping on the outside for this, both inside and outside of the community, runners and not runners, to make this race go off. It's just been outstanding. The
work that Wout has done, the work that
absolutely
has brought to in front of you, the viewers, and behind the scenes with Maya, certainly with myself as well. Unbelievable. We'd like to certainly thank Wout for all the work that he's done, because I know he puts in a lot of time.
So Edgeworth has just a few more chests to check here on the left-hand side of this floor, and then he will be off to kill Lich, which will be his 4th orb. And then at that point, you have to start questioning, okay, what haven't I done yet?
Edgeworth has got to be considering just a little bit right now that the road may lead to the Marsh Cave. He's got to feel probably pretty comfortable with it, giving the access. Probably do it pretty quick, but he probably doesn't want to do it. He wants to get this Mystic Key out of this next 3 chests. He's not going to find it. He also does not have the Mazmoon. I know Edgeworth is a Mazmoon fan. When he eventually does get his Mystic Key, does he take the time to check the Dwarf Cave in their chests? I don't think he does.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. He has the Power Bonk at this point. He does not have, I don't believe he has the Mazmoon. And so he probably won't be picking that up. Oh, no, that's right. It's key locked, so he wouldn't have that. So with the 2-man party, do you feel comfortable enough? He does have defense. He has the white shirt. He has a couple of high-leveled characters. He probably feels comfortable enough to give this a go.
I would certainly think based upon the fact that the legendary Excalibur is only equipable by the Knight, that he would give the Excalibur to the Knight, and then, of course, the Mystical Vorpal he could give to the Red Wizard. That's equipable for the Red Wizard.
He could give it to the Volcano.
A sacrifice? A sacrifice? No.
I know that's sacrilegious to have in the community,
yes,
but
yes.
I don't think it's necessary in this seed.
I think we saw someone throw it from outer space once, Maya, from up the floating fortress window. Tactical error made by Fuzzy Mage when he did that. A big misclick. He meant to throw the saber out there. Whoops.
All right, it's the moment of truth for Edgeworth, and yep, here he comes down to that hole in the ground known as Marsh Cave that everyone loves to visit.
We do know that the Mystic Key is in here. I think it's on the top, right, Maya?
Yep, it'll be on the top side. Tristal still checking chests as well. Probably not feeling terribly comfortable with just one ribbon.
Was that a second ribbon, or did he move it? I think he moved it.
Yeah, that was just a move.
Okay.
There is a second ribbon here, I believe, on the left-hand side of C, if I recall correctly. I'm sure Melee Wizard remembers where all three of them are, so he can correct me, but I think there's one in here somewhere.
Unrunnable Wizard Sahag, Red Sahag fight. This will always be unrunnable. It is what's called a B-side encounter. It shares its A-side with the pirates, who have to be unrunnable. So that's always going to pop up. Something you always want to, keep in the back of your mind and prepare for when you enter here, whether it's Thor's Hammer or the Zeus Gauntlet to have in your back pocket. Meanwhile, Edgeworth has found it now. Go mode established. The Mystic Key has been located by Edgeworth at 123. Let's see what he decides to do with it. He's headed straight north, Maya.
Yep, it looks like he's going to go ahead and probably top off some resources here at Caneria. Pick up some heal pots, and he's probably going to go ahead and make a first attempt at Temple of Fiends Revisited.
A lot of different options here. I didn't... Oh, he's bringing them up. Okay, he's bringing up both black belts, masters, excuse me. Warp, fast, I don't see him.
No, neither do I.
But, right.
Yeah, you got Power Gauntlet, and that's it. I didn't see fast on the Red Wizard, and so now we're going to find out whether or not Edgeworth's gamble on his party composition, which has paid off so far, is going to take him all the way home here and win this and get him over to the semifinals or not.
The white shirt, castable item. He's moving around his masters. You can see Edge going through the motions in his head. How am I going to do this? How long can I extend the life here of the masters? And how much can they save me? Edge with a huge run to begin with runs directly into 4 gas dragons now. We're going to call it 1 hour 24 minutes. Edgeworth has entered the Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Checking the validation chests. I like it.
Tristal taking on the Fiend of the Kraken. Heal 3. 3 warriors alive for Tristal. Kraken continues to use the Fire 2. Same thing he did against Edgeworth. Meanwhile, Edgeworth in the Temple of Fiends gets ambushed by Frost Walls and Frost Giants.
And so this is going to be a concern for Edgeworth. How many life charges do you use on these little black belts or masters? Or do you want to try to save them in case something else goes terribly wrong later? We'll see when he decides to bring them back up. And it looks not yet.
No. 3 zombie dragons. Tristal has taken out the Fiend of the Sea Kraken. 3 orbs lit now. I can only imagine that pedal is on, the foot is on the pedal, full speed ahead for Tristal. He's going to go in, probably go directly after Tiamat. Yeah,
I think Tristal has to feel like he's close to done. He's already checked these chests, so we'll see if he does any up top in Sky.
Power Gauntlet was up here, right? Was it?
Yes,
was it on the left? Was it on the left side of the 4?
No, it was up on the upper right-hand side of Sky 3 with 6 chests.
Edgeworth with both masters down now. He's back to where he's been essentially playing the entire game. How comfortable are you, Maya?
Oh, I
Scale of 1 to
became
10.
uncomfortable right when the party composition was rolled.
True. True.
You can do this with a 2-man, and if anybody can do it, it's these 2 runners. Can make this work.
Duke Firebar joining us in chat. Welcome to Speed Gaming and Final Fantasy Randomizer. Asking, who is the gatekeeper?
Oh, who isn't?
I gotta go with old dependable Mr. Tentacles himself. I'm gonna go with Kraken 2 as the gatekeeper.
Yeah, I have to agree. If I'm Edgeworth right now, Kraken 2 is in my nightmares. 1 shot to the Red Wizard and all of your healing is gone. And we all know that Kraken 2 loves to wander on down there to the 4th slot and hit that 12% chance to hit that person.
I didn't quite catch it. Did Edgeworth pick up Cure 3 for the night? I don't think he's got any spells, does he?
I'm unsure. That was a really, really piddly carry, by the way.
Yeah. Who?
This is not a good encounter here for Edgeworth.
Melee
got
Wizard
away
says
from
he
it.
think he did. Melee Wizard says he think he did. We'll see if we can get a look at the magic of the night. That could come into play later on here. Quad X. Edgeworth loves Quad X. He times it very, very well. He's able to utilize that spell to end battles for him. We'll see if that pops up. Faye Wins is calling for Tiamat 2 to be the potential gatekeeper. Tristal with all 4 warriors up now. Gonna take a mana core fight, try to get a little bit more experience on BB1. Looks like more than likely fires off a nuke, takes him out. Making his way straight to Tiamat now. He's gonna go through the teleporter maze and hit the bridge of destination to let the war.
Another run now.
Oh, again.
So Edgeworth now setting up for the Kraken fight. Let's see if he decides to bring those black belts back up.
Edgeworth has revived both masters. Here we go. Kraken 2 against Edgeworth. You're in the 90-minute mark.
I love the white shirt.
White shirt. Black shirt. Edgeworth is attacking with the black shirt. Kraken obliterates the master, but he's still standing. Okay, well, no, he got the knight.
Yeah, he hit the knight hard.
The knight's hurting now. Nuke. Edgeworth is going to probably try to continue the attack. A dead enemy cannot hurt you. Edgeworth should probably look to take out Kraken 2 as soon as he can right now. Here comes another attack from the Excalibur. 5 hits for 200 damage. Follow Nuke. Another 200 damage. Starting to heal now. Blaze is the first skill out of Kraken. Knocks out both masters. An Excalibur attack. 5 hits. Another 200 damage. Down goes Kraken 2.
And so Edgeworth is now 2 fiends away, Tiamat and Chaos, are 2 enemies away from punching his ticket into the semifinals. That Kraken was pretty average, to be completely honest. Had about 800 to 900 hit points. Not too much to be frightened by there.
We haven't seen much out of the spell pool. We saw the skill Blaze. Cure 4 still out there. Slow 2. Swirl, Tornado, Nuclear, NUKE, look out. Meanwhile, TristalMTG steps away now. Takes out Tiamat. He's got his 4th Orblet. We've seen this scenario before, Maya. If Edgeworth can't finish this, buckle your seatbelts.
And here comes Tristal.
Tiamat 2 now. 1 master has been revived. The white shirt is out. A little bit of invisibility. There's a nuke for 186 and a power gauntlet. Tiamat does a melee attack directly into the knight for only 73. Edgeworth continues the invisibility cloaks. Meanwhile, TristalMTG has entered the Temple of Fiends Revisited at 131. Edgeworth continues to attack. Nuke! Nuke, Maya!
Here we go.
Uh-oh. Tiamat has nuke. 2 warriors standing. It's his main warriors. Edge planned for this. Edge continuing to attack with Nuke. Another 200 shot from it. Here comes the Excalibur. 4 hits, 318. Down goes time at 2. Woohoo! 1 nuke's out of the spell pool now, Maya. So that's good.
Yep, you got by what you needed to get by, and you only have Chaos left. You saw something awful there and you survived. That is a huge win for Edgeworth. And he only has the big boy Chaos left.
1 Fiend left. What about Life 2 charges? Can he bring up at least 1 Master?
If you're gonna do it, wait.
Right, wait until you get to the chamber.
Let's see if he has any charges left.
Oh boy. Well.
Yep,
2
you
left.
got 2. Go for it.
Edgeworth puts his order of characters the way he wants it. The Knight is in the 2nd slot, the Red Wizard in the last slot. Power Gauntlet. White shirt. And he's going to attack with Nuke. 23 from the black shirt, and the invisibility cloaks are up. Meanwhile, TristalMTG trying to make a move. He's run into the Frost Giants and the Frost Wolves. Chaos with a melee attack knocks out Gwen. The first master. Edgeworth prepped for that. He's not bothered by it. Heal stab.
Paralysis touch there was concerning.
Edgeworth using the Thor hammer. He's conserving something. Lightning to tame from Chaos. We're down to the 2 warriors now. 139 of a melee attack, but a defense sword comes up after that. Another Thor's hammer. We have not seen Cure 4. We have not seen much of the pool. Zap comes out. No good. He cannot exile Edgeworth. Edgeworth continues to attack. He's got full defenses now, Maya. He's fully max evade. Another Power Gauntlet. Chaos fires back again with Lightning 2. He's running with the Red Wizard. It's all in the Knight. 4 hits for 128. Edgeworth does not like that. He's going to go back to the Power Gauntlet. Power Gauntlet casting Saber, strengthening the Excalibur wielding Knight now. Lightning 2 again from
Light
Chaos.
2, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's concerning. 4 hits, 663. Edge is getting closer, Maya. You can feel it. 4 hits for 350. We're over 1,000. Zap from Chaos. He's gone through his whole spell list, I think.
Looks like it.
Skills could come into play here. There's the Excalibur and the Knight. 450 damage. Chaos is still standing. The Knight again with Excalibur. 473. Down he goes. Edgeworth takes it. Edgeworth moves on to the final 4.
And that was a clinic. Let's make no words about it. Edgeworth 2-man that almost from beginning to end. His party composition choice ended up, and there was no way to know this until now, ended up being absolutely the right call to make.
Yeah.
And GG's to Edgeworth, moving on to the semifinals. And for Tristal, Tristal played very well for this and went with a different sort of strategy, and it looks like he's still going to give us a bit of a show here, so that's great to see. I would like to watch his party composition try to tackle this Temple of Fiends as well.
Classy move from a classy person, TristalMTG.
Absolutely.
Tristal does know that his tournament is over at this point. Fans, he does know that he's going to continue on here. He's going to try to take out this Chaos in a very classy move. We're going to see if we can get Edgeworth in here to potentially chit-chat about this game. And speaking of Edgeworth, is that an Edgeworth I hear?
That is.
Edge, GG's, it's Will. Congratulations. How you feeling?
That one was a little scarier than I'm used to, but I thought for sure those. I gotta admit, I think I got super lucky in ordeals with the Argoyles, because if the turn order went any differently, I could have wiped in there real easy.
Well, I think there's one big question from myself and Maya. Edgeworth, you started with a party composition. Before the game even started, you switched it. Was that where the 2-man idea came in from? And how did you implement that? What was your plan? Did you want to deviate that from all? Please tell us all about that decision that won you this match.
So, what's funny is Artea joined the IRC chat room. I'm presumably to get like a multi-Twitch link or something, and when I thought about that, I was thinking, this might actually be a good time to try out the the patented Artea strats and just two-man through the entire game. And my plan was, I've seen Artea hit like 32, 33 by the time he's gotten into Temple of Fiends. I'm not that good at the two-man strat, but 29 with Excal, you get the extra hit. That works just fine.
Yeah, that's what Maya, that's what we talked about. Potentially getting that 29 towards the end game.
My question for you, Edgeworth, is, oh boy, you had to go to Marsh in order to find your last progression item. When you go back and you watch the VOD, you'll find out that Tristal chanced Marsh much earlier and found that required item earlier than you did. At what point are you thinking with a two-man strategy? How does your routing work at that point? Because you saved Marsh for last, and why did you do that?
I saved Marsh for last because it's a completely optional dungeon, and you have to do all of the other dungeons anyway, so it's just more efficient to check those. And I mean, sometimes you just get blown away with a key item in Marsh. But as far as the other routing differences, normally I like to dive Volcano as soon as I can and then switch over to Ice Cave, but with the two-man strats, early on you don't have enough spell charges to do that. Like, 5 nukes isn't going to cut it in Ice Cave, and especially not with all the unrunnables that were in there. So I decided to go to Ordeals first instead. Had to do some power cycling, got a little confused by the pillars, but I feel like I had just enough nukes to get through that, and that led to me having just enough in the way of resources to get through pretty much everything in the game.
Going back to the two-man strats, Edge, how much experience do you have in that? I know how much you practice. I've watched you extensively. But how much experience do you have actually executing that type of move for as long as you did?
I don't. This is the first time I've tried it, but I mean, Ice Blue dunked me in last year's tournament doing two-man strats, so I figured it's probably would work just as well here.
You know, the other side of a two-man strat is that you only brought one magic caster along with you. And so you had to feel like you had little to no room for error at all.
Yeah, and especially, and I mean, just studying Artea's VODs and just talking to him, I kind of had a good idea of where, like, the sticking points would be. So just get as many spell charges as you can early on, and don't underestimate monsters.
You know, see a question in chat from Master. I know. You know, who do you rather because you're
Fans were trying to come back. Can you hear me? It's Will.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, it looks like Discord just had a blip.
So yeah, my question was Brat versus Salty Fry. Do you have any thoughts about who your next competitor might be?
No, either one of them could win it, so I need to make sure I watch that one just to see who I'm up against.
You know, that just happens to be coming up here on Speed Gaming Cinco. Speed Gaming 5 is going to be playing their Game 3 here very shortly.
Oh, what a coincidence.
Edgeworth, I had a question. Me and Maya were able to talk about it a little bit earlier as well. The new blood here in this tournament. The Arson Horses, he's in the Final Four. All the damage that Fuzzy Mage did. The Falconics. What do you think about this new crop of players? Can you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
So I've been pretty impressed with basically the performance of all the people that have made the final 16. I mean, let's not forget about High Spirits, who picked up this randomizer and played very, very well. The new crop of players, they've been putting the work in, and it definitely shows. And I'm impressed to see how they'll play with 2 or 3 months of experience more under their belt. If we do a league or some weekly races, I expect to see some of the new players to make some noise.
Mm-hmm. Going back to the tournament that you just mentioned, this Red Dragon bracket, you got out of it. Congratulations. On a scale of 1 to 10, how did you honestly feel were your chances of maneuvering through these 3 other titans of this game alongside you?
I didn't feel good about it at all. Like, I know I mentioned I felt more comfortable with black belt strats in the previous tournament. I did not feel comfortable going through this bracket at all. I mean, Fuchsia put on a hell of a show in the Swiss rounds too, so it's just, there were no lightweights in Edge charge into the top of the SRL rankings. There wasn't a free win anywhere in this bracket, and I felt super uncomfortable.
Well, you made it. You've moved on to the Final Four. Tristal right now, like we talked about earlier, making a classy move. He knows his tournament is over. He's going to go ahead and try to continue to finish this race. He's on time at 2. He discovers what Edgeworth did just a few minutes ago. Time at 2 has Nuke. Hurt his party. The White Mage is down to 1 knee, and he's down to his black belt. He is not class promoted, but he uses a Cure 4. Quad X from Time at 2 is no good. Time at blasts his black belt. Now he's down to 100 HP. Tristal trying to fight Time at 2, trying to gets off a Cure 4, and Cure 4 is his black belt. Black belt stands up. Karate Kid sweeps the leg and takes out Time at 2. He's down to 2 warriors.
I just like to sit back and bask in the splendor of watching an unpromoted white mage swing the Masamune. It's just awesome.
So was that in Basement of Marsh then?
Dwarfs.
Oh, okay. Oh, right, the key chests that I just blew past.
2 light warriors for TristalMTG now. He's going to take on the Ultimate Fiend Chaos. Here we go. White Mage in the top spot. Casts Wall for the White Mage and starts to attack with the black belt. 6 hits is only 164. Chaos, we know, has Zap, a bunch of Lightning 2s. Whole bunch of other stuff, too. Black belt attacks 7 hits, only 74 damage. No power gauntlet for TristalMTG. He was not able to dig that other floating fortress as his opponent Edgeworth did. 6 hits for 102. Tristal starting to dig into Chaos now. 2 hits, 29 damage from the White Mage. Isn't much with that, Mazmoon. Chaos ain't having it. A melee attack absolutely obliterates the White Mage. He's down to 20 HP. Cure 3. No, Chaos not having it. Down goes the White Mage. 8 hits for... It's mono a mono. Here we go. Black belt Chaos. Black belt attacks 7 hits for 309. Chaos retorts with a Lightning 2. Tristal continues the assault on the Ultimate Fiend. 7 hits for 221. Again, TristalMTG punches and kicks. 7 hits. Zap from Chaos cannot exile Tristal. Tristal attacks again. 5 hits. Oh no! Cure 4 from Chaos! Oh no! Chaos has fully healed. Tristal trying to fight again. More hits. 7 hits for 74. Tristal not giving up though. 7 hits for 178. Chaos attacks a melee for 200 into Tristal. 8 hits, 257. There's a zap from Chaos. It's ineffective. Chaos ends the run of TristalMTG, ending his tournament now. What a showing.
The pocket Cure 4 from Chaos. That was just brutal. So we thought that he had cycled around on his spell list, but he hadn't.
No, he hadn't. Do you have 2 zaps?
Wow.
Wow.
So everybody give your love in chat to Tristal for an amazing run in this tournament. Making it almost through the Fun Police bracket, taking on some great competitors along the way. So much love to Tristal and GG's to him. So Will, What did you think of the seed from top to bottom here? We saw a doozy.
Yeah, a doozy. The ex-Ice Blue production, who's getting ready for his match here in a few minutes. We'll talk about that in a few. I've never run a seed with 2 black belts. I have no interest in that. And like we talked about in the pre-race, both these players, we talked to them last night about it, and they both, I guess you could say, a little bit favored the black belt in the last tournament. Different set, different rules, and PC shuffles coming up now. Certainly very different. But 2 different strategies. It came down to execution. Edgeworth never saw the Cure 4. Edgeworth, the winner tonight, never saw the damage poison from the Eye Mages that cost Tristal, I believe it was 2 runs. I know for sure it was 1. Tristal making the move to get into Marsh Cave. I liked that play as well. He made a move early that didn't pay off into the Mirage Tower as well. I liked that play. Really came down to, certainly item placement and the execution of the implemented strategy of 2 Light Warriors by our victor tonight. The man is moving on to the Final Four by Edgeworth.
And so it looks like we are trying to get Tristal here into chat. I know that Discord, I should say, has been roboting a little bit. And so Tristal's having a little bit of an issue joining us here. So we will see whether or not he can get in here now. And I believe I heard the telltale ding of somebody joining chat. Tristal, GG's to you. That was a hell of a run, and it looked like for both of you that it was pretty uncomfortable the entire time. You want to talk to us a little bit about how this went down for you?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if I just straight up lost on the character select screen or not here, but kind of committed to the black belt strat from, minute 0. So I had to try and make that work. I kind of went everywhere looking for a ribbon to the grind going somewhere, and that took me a little too long. I got pretty lucky to find the key in Marsh as early as I did, but apparently not enough still.
Yeah, I ended up going Fighter Red Mage.
Yeah, like I said, I pretty much lost on the character select screen.
So Tristal, it's been a heck of a ride for this tournament. Watching you run, watching everyone run. I know we do have another race coming up here in a few minutes, but I want to give you the floor for you to talk about what your experiences have been like this tournament, and just sort of your thoughts in general. It's hard to believe from my perspective that we're not going to have a Tristal moving forward because I'm used to seeing you win all of these tournaments in leagues. And so I just want to say congratulations and give you the floor to speak a little bit.
Yeah, GG's to Edgeworth. Absolutely no shame in losing to him. He is possibly the most underrated of the participants still remaining in the tournament, I think. And everybody else needs to watch out because he might just crush it. I had a wonderful tournament. I had a blast with the flag set and all the great commentating and all the great participants, and all the races were fantastic. So I really enjoyed myself, and I'm looking forward to some commentary perhaps in the future now that I'm no longer needed for racing.
You're going to join me again, Tristal?
It's possible. We'll see.
All right. I certainly had a good time last time. Tristal, GG's and congratulations. Unable, to defend your title. We talked about it with Edgeworth. We talked about it last night. That Red Dragon bracket, just wow. The talent and skill. Before the tournament, I picked 4 people that I think were going to be, make it to the finals, essentially, or potentially win. Depending upon the seeding, you couldn't know. You were certainly one of them, Tristal. Edgeworth was one of them. Fuchsia Fantasy was one of them, all in the Red Dragon bracket, and just complete great competition. It's been great. We talked about the new players, what it is that they're bringing to the table. The shows and matches have been just exceptional here in the tournament, and I certainly can't wait to look forward to certainly working with you, Tristal, certainly playing with you, all you guys again, and moving on, to, like you said, potential a league thing, Edge, something along those lines. We'd like to remind you that in just a few minutes, Coming up, 1-0, X-Ice Blue. He's the franchise of Final Fantasy Randomizer, taking on the Buzzsaw, the formerly undefeated Minochi 85. The ladies, Demarine 2 and Rainbow Poogle, going to be on the call for that coming up in just a few minutes. I see them setting up right now, so stay tuned right here on Speed Gaming, fans.
Yep. Thanks everybody for watching this evening. Will, it was an absolute pleasure to commentate with you. If you think that commentary was fun here, wait until you hear Demarine and Poogle, because we look like amateurs compared to them.
Yes.
And so stay tuned, everybody. Edgeworth, you want to take us out?
Thanks again to Speed Gaming, GG Tristal. Definitely a couple of tough losses, but I was scared every second of the way, and looking forward to getting my head kicked in during the Dragon Warrior Randomizer tournament.
All right, then. I think that'll do it for all of us here for this race. But again, don't touch that dial. If you need to find a television with a dial, us old people know what those look like. And we've got another race coming up here and a side-by-side race over on Speed Gaming 5. So thanks, everyone, for watching.
Thank you, fans. My name is Will Cleosis. I'm out of here. Join the ladies coming up in just a minute. Pleasure joining with Maya. Thank you for working with me.
Oh, always a pleasure, Will. Thank you.